What's good, YouTube? First wanted to apologize for taking so long to get back and updating more content. Um, if you've been following me on either Instagram or on my Twitter, my wife just gave birth to, you know, my little baby boy, and family comes before all. So I have to make sure that they situated, and that they're straight. Now that my baby boy is here and he's in perfect good health by the grace of God. Now I can get back to doing what I love doing, which is music. I mean, I never stop. I've been working on a few independent artists, they projects and some. Uh, but it's finally time to get back to these tutorials. Now this beat is a beat that I made back in maybe like 2010, 2011, somewhere in that time frame. And I wanted to kind of cover how you can take a loop and kind of make it your own. This was one of those things that I was afraid of loops, but let me let you hear what the loop originally sounded like. So first, notice the tempo. The tempo is 84 BPM. And that's pretty much what I used to start this beat. I like the loop, but I didn't want it to feel like at the time I think DJ Khaled, he's still popping down, but that's when his sound was like really big. I didn't want to, follow that sound. So what I did was I kind of stretched it. So if I'm in double time, that would be like 72 BPM. So I went from 84 BPM to 72 BPM. And since I wanted to make the beat like a trap type beat, I doubled that time. So this is now what that loop sounds like. My next thing I did was, since I'm going for that dark, heavy trap, I had to add like a crazy lead to it. And if you notice, like, the frequency is kind of like within the mid to mid high range, and it kind of sounds filtered. There's no reverb to it, so I kind of wanted to add like a low synth sound to kind of like bring the track out. So this was the next sound that I added. Here's what the MIDI notes would look like. Now I could have, if you notice how the notes are kind of overlapping, um, I could have put like a portamento glide to where as though the notes would go from one note and transition, from one to the next and kind of like smoothly do it. But I didn't want that. I wanted the sound to kind of have like those those imperfections of the notes clashing. So I purposely did not enable portamento glide in this beat. What was it? Can't go wrong without a kick. And if you watched any of my other videos, I like to kind of like double up my kicks to kind of give my kicks extra oomph, and also to make the kick mine. I didn't use the same kicks. I used two different kicks. And it's those small, subtle differences. So rather than just having just a kick that kind of, that kind of just got that low end hump to it, I added another kick that kind of had like you could kind of hear like some of the highs in it. This is what it sounds like together. Now, same thing with my claps. And what I thought about was because the stereo space is pretty much already being taken up, my claps, you can hear the reverb, but you can't unless you're listening to them like with some monitors. You really can't hear them, and they kind of sound like flat. So what I wanted to do was kind of like add something to the lower end. So this is the snare that I had added to it. And to me, this next piece that I'm about to bring in, which are my hi-hats, in my opinion, out of everything that you've heard, thus far within this track, to me, I think the hi-hats are the key thing that's going to, let me just let you listen to it. So if you notice, again, if you watched my other videos when it comes to, adding velocity, when you add, what velocity is when you, when this note plays, the highest is 127. So at 127, this sound is going to hit at its hardest. And by adjusting the velocity, you can give your sound, a different dynamic. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go back and watch that tutorial on how I accomplish the sound, because you kind of hear it goes, then it drops, and then comes back up, and then same pattern over and over again. And what beat wouldn't be complete without a open hi-hat to kind of give it that bounce. And the last thing is the air horn. this track did feature on Cree's latest project, Cree Fortune. If you haven't heard of him, he's a dope artist out of Philly. I mean, that's my folk. So, yeah, that's pretty much the end of this. You know, something quick, simple. Don't really contain that many sounds. Um, you know, I hope that you were able to learn something. I didn't really go into details. Kind of like a breakdown. Um, you know, nothing really special, intricate about it. Like people making music and producing like it's such a hard thing. But I mean, it can be if you make it that way. But if you just go with your gut, you know, and just live by that saying that I say, you know, if it sounds good, it is good. You know, yeah, that's about it. But if you've enjoyed this video, please continue to subscribe. Continue to check back for updates as I continue to add new content. Um, like, share, subscribe. Again, I wanted to apologize for the long delay, and thanks for watching. Deuces.